Okay, so pasta bolognese, this has got to be one of the all-time world favourites. I think it's one of the most popular kind of weeknight dishes out there. And today I'm going to show you how I cook our family recipe at home. Really simple, but really, really tasty. So first up, I'm going to get all of the veg prepped and ready, and then I'm going to start the cooking process. So we're going to get the carrots and the onions blended up quickly in the food processor just to give a nice fine texture. I'm going to slice the mushrooms thickly because I want them to be a nice texture and visible in the final dish. And then peel and finely grate the garlic. Now you could use a store-bought stock or a homemade stock, but here I'm actually going to use OXO stock cubes. This is what my family always used, and it gives me a great sense of nostalgia when I use it with this dish. Now I'm always making bacon at home. By the way, I'll leave a link up top and one in the description. So I always have these trimmings left over, which I wrap individually and then pop in the freezer. And then whenever I make a bolognese, I just slice them up finely, and I like to saute this off before my vegetables. So let's get that on to kind of a medium to medium high heat, and then in with some olive oil, and then we'll get the bacon straight into the pan. I'm just going to saute this off until it's got a nice brown colour on the outside. I'm not looking to cook it all the way through, I just want to develop some flavour on the outside. Okay, and then into the pan with the onion and the carrot, and we'll be cooking this off in all of those bacon juices and olive oil. And that's it, that's the carrot and the onion cooked down. Next up, we're going to go in with the garlic. And again, this just wants to be sauteed off for a couple of minutes. Following that, we're going to get the stock straight in. And then follow up with the smooth tomato passata. So this is going to become the pot that I'm going to add all of the other ingredients to. So I'm just going to pop it on another ring and put it on a low heat just to keep it ticking over. Right, let's get the mushrooms cooked off. Now I'm going to cook these separately because I want to get some colour on them and I want to develop that deep mushroomy flavour that you can really only get from sautéing. So I'm going to cook it in a couple of batches so I don't overcrowd the pan, and I just want to sauté it off until I get that really nice deep golden colour. Once they're cooked, we're going to get them into our main cooking pot, back on the heat, and we'll cook the second batch. And once all of the mushrooms have been cooked, we're going to get that pan back onto a medium-high heat, olive oil, and then we're going to start cooking the mince. And the idea here is just to brown it to get some colour and to help develop the flavour in the main dish. So I'm using a mixture of pork and beef mince here, but you could just use beef if you wanted to. And once we've cooked this off and we've got a nice colour on the outside, we're going to get that into our main cooking pot, get the pan back on the heat and continue to brown off the rest of our mince. And now it's seasoning time, and I'm going to use a mixture here. I've got some dried thyme, some cracked black pepper, and also some dried oregano. Now I will season this with salt, but right at the end of the cooking because our OXO cubes have already got a little bit of salt in them. Now I'm going to top this up with water. So what you're looking at here is all of the mince, the passata and the stock together, but this is going to cook for a long time. I'm probably going to cook this for 2 or 3 hours, maybe a little bit longer. So I need to add enough moisture for that cook. So I'm not worried about measurements here because all of this water is going to be evaporated off as we cook it. So just want to make sure there's enough there, and if it starts to run out during the cook, then I'll just top it up with some more water. And then finally, in with a couple of dried bay leaves. So we're just going to put this onto a low heat. As I said, it's going to cook for a long time, so we just want to make sure it's simmering nicely and not cooking too hard. And this actually cooked for 3 hours. And here you can see all of the sauce has reduced down and it's all become one homogeneous, rich sauce. And the final stage now is just to check for that salt seasoning. So we'll give it a quick try. And if you need to adjust anything, now's the time to do it. I'm just going to add a little touch of salt and a little bit more black pepper. And if you've made a big batch, then now's the time to put it into containers and then leave it to cool on the side and then pop it in the fridge or the freezer. And then when it's time to reheat this, I like to cook the pasta and add it to a separate pan with the sauce inside. And I'm going to cook that on a low heat just for a couple of minutes. And this gives the pasta a chance to finish cooking and amalgamate with that sauce. So you end up with a really nice mixture. I'm using Penne, so you get the Bolognese sauce through all the inside of the tubes of the pasta. And then I'm going to get it into the bowl and then add some more of the sauce onto the top. And of course, no pasta dish is complete without some cheese. I'm not using Parmesan here. I'm using a sheep's cheese, a kefalotieri, which has got black pepper. I'm going to get that grated all over the top. And that is the perfect finish for this dish. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you again very soon.